So I remember a handful of years ago, or a long time ago, however you want to say it, when I was working at Domino's, and I was a driver, and then I went and I worked at Walmart, and I pushed carts at Walmart, and then I went to Houlihan's, and I was a server at Houlihan's. So I'm making like 20 grand a year, and I'm working my ass off, and I'm working with all these people, and I think the customers are stupid. And I'm over here working, and I'm thinking, man, I saw these people that were making money, and they were making like 100 grand a year, and some people are making $1 million a year, some people are making more than that. I'm like, man, that's got to be so tough to make $100,000 a year. It's got to be so hard to make $100,000 a year. I mean, $100,000 a year just sounds like so much money. I don't think I can do it. What would happen was once I got to the point where I was making 100 grand a year, and then I got to the point where I had two businesses that were each bringing me in over 100 grand a year, and things continued to skyrocket, I noticed that it actually was not that hard. It was actually pretty easy, and here's why it's easy. So there's the statistics out there that, like, you know, if you make 100 grand a year, you're in the wealthiest 2% of people in the United States. If you make, it's like 350 grand a year or more, you're in the top 1%. So think about that. Let's do the math. So if you're making, let's say, 350K plus a year, you're in the top 1%. Now, someone's going to correct me. It's like 265 or I'm sorry, it's like 350 or 365 grand a year. Somewhere around there, right? So you're in the top 1%. That means 99% of people are making less than you. You're in the top 1%. That's got to be tough. Well, it's not really. It's actually pretty fucking easy, because here's why. Because out of 100 people, in order for you to be the 1% that's making 350 grand a year or more, out of 100 people, how many people do you think are out there every day busting their ass, bumping and grinding? How many people are out there every day hustling? How many people are out there every day spending time and energy focusing on improving their craft, focused on improving their skills, getting better information, investing in themselves, getting access to programs, getting access to mentors, reading books, even listening to audiobooks, guys? It fucking blows my mind how there's so much information out there, and sometimes it's free. Right now, sure, for some advanced information, sometimes you got to pay a couple bucks for a program. But you can find amazing books, guys. You can go to YouTube. There's this thing called YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. You can go to YouTube. You can type in the name of a book, put the word audio after it, and 9 times out of 10, you can find the fucking audio book on YouTube. You can listen to that bitch for free. Guys, I sometimes do that. Not that I'm not opposed to buying books. Sometimes I buy books, but sometimes it's just quicker to listen to the shit on YouTube. I'm creating a product, guys, where I interview 33 successful people. I actually just interviewed this guy that was on the Shark Tank. And I'm going to put that interview up on YouTube here sometime in the near future. I interviewed a guy that's on Shark Tank, that was on Shark Tank. His business does millions of dollars a year. And I spent like a half an hour interviewing one-on-one. He breaks down exactly what I did to grow the business, exactly what he did to get the business up and running when he had no money. He shows you how you can do the same thing, shows you what he's doing now to grow his business, shares some strategies with you that you probably have never thought about before to start making money quickly, even if you don't know what you're doing. Fantastic guy, right? So one of the guys I interviewed was a buddy of mine who I've known for a while that started off making 15 bucks an hour in this space. Now he's in the same space making $300,000 a year. He said, "Oh, Aaron, there's this really good book that I recommend." Guess what I did when I got done with the interview? Well, I went to the gym. On the way to the gym, I take out my phone. I go to YouTube. I type in the name of the book. I put the word audio afterwards. There's the whole fucking audio book on YouTube. I started listening to it. I got through like a third of the book at the end of the day. For free, guys. There's all this information out there. Yet people aren't going through the information. They're fucking watching King of Thrones or Game of Thrones or whatever the TV show is called. Right? They're watching that shit. They're watching Netflix. They're going to the latest movie. They're going to the bar. They're, sitting at home watching TV, bored out of their fucking mind, right? They talk about, people have this thing now called binge watching. I've never even heard of that shit. There's a thing now where people are like, oh, I binge watched. I was talking to a guy the other day. He goes, yeah, man, I went home and I binge watched, basically he watched all the Harry Potter movies. Yeah, man, I spent 14 hours watching all the Harry Potter movies. What's my fucking point? The point is, the average person isn't doing shit with their lives. They're fucking watching 14 hours of TV shows, right? That's like their thing. They're watching all these movies. They're not working on improving themselves like you are. They're not working on growing their business like you are. They're not working on getting access to better information where you are. The bar is set so fucking low. And then you got people out there, there's all this technology, right? I remember when I was at the club like 5 years ago. So let's say, how old am I? I'm 27 now. So 5 years ago, I'm 22. Okay. Took me a sec to do the math. And there was like some 18-year-olds in the corner. And they're on their phone. So I go up and I talk to the 18-year-old girl and some girls, right? And I said, what the fuck are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're just going through our phones. So I watch them. And I'm stalking them a little bit. But I tell them I'm stalking them, so it's not really creepy. Because I'm like, they're looking at their shit. They open up Facebook. Nothing's on Facebook. They close Facebook. Then they go to Instagram. And then they close Instagram. And then they go to Twitter. I don't know if Twitter's that popular. I don't know. And then they go to Snapchat. And then they go to, what was the other? Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. And then after they get done with it, they go through it again. Oh, nothing new there. Oh my gosh, it's been 30 seconds. Let's go back to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Did I miss one? Whatever. Maybe I missed one. Who gives a fuck? Point is, people have so much, so people have ADD, right? So they can't fucking focus. That's why I meditate. I try to meditate every day, guys. I don't lie. I only meditate like every other day. But that's why I meditate. Keep myself focused. All right? I want to be focused. So when I'm reading a book, I'm not thinking about, this thing and that thing and that. I'm focused on the book. I'm absorbing the information because you can read a book but not really read the book. You can watch this YouTube video, but if you're not listening to what I'm saying, you're not getting anything from it, right? And a lot of people, they can't even absorb any information. So people are binge watching TV shows. People are they got ADD. They can't focus enough to fucking learn some information or focus on growing their business. And then the final thing is, most people are so afraid of failure, they don't even try. Or they try something and then it doesn't go just the way they want it to go, so they quit. I remember there was this girl that I was dating. This was a handful of years ago. We only dated for a couple months. She started selling shit on eBay. And she started making some money. And then after 2 months, she quit. Why did you quit? Well, she said her name was Kelly. Kelly goes, well, I just didn't think I was making the money. I felt like I should be making more money. I felt like a failure. She was making money. And she quit. Now, your boy Goldsten in All Self-Improvement, I said some stuff to her, and she did it on her own, right? I didn't do anything. I just gave her some, I helped her reframe the ideas in her brain. And then she started selling stuff on eBay, and she started making money again. But, you got people that are giving up, right? So the bar is so fucking low that as long as you're willing to actually go out there and do something, so you say, hey, I'm afraid I might fail. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it anyway. As long as you're willing to be consistent with it to where, hey, you decided to try this thing today. You're not making $100,000 a year with it tomorrow. You decide to stay with it and stick with it and realize you got to stick with it, right? You got to learn. You got to try some shit and fuck it up. It might take a few weeks. It might take a few months. Hell, it might take a year or so. And then on top of that, every day you're willing to invest in yourself, to get better information, to learn, to grow. You realize you got a little trick you learned. Now you got some other information. You try this. Oh, this works. Over time, all these things compound and you start to figure it out to where 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 to 3 years from now, it's going great. You're now making a shit ton of fucking money. You've automated the business so you make a lot of money. You don't have to work and your business grows. The key, though, is you have to fucking start. If you don't fucking start, If you don't try something, and if you don't stay with it and keep going, you're not going to make the money. But as long as you're willing to do those things, it's fucking easy to get rich. You can get massively rich. You think making 350 grand a year is easy. You can be making that a month. Because the bar is so low. Because most people, guys, see, if you think that, oh, you're competing up against these 99 other people, you're not competing up against those people. There's people out there that think money's bad. Fuck it. It blows my mind. There's people out there that they don't believe that they can get rich, so they don't even try. That's like a lot of people out there. Then there's people out there that have the wrong ideas about money. They think that, oh, money's bad, or they're fucking going to hell, or that, what are some other beliefs? Or that if they make money, it's gonna separate them from their friends and family, or that it's gonna consume them, or they have all these wrong ideas. Which is, when you make a lot of money and then you can automate the money you're making, give more to church, give more to charity. You can do more with your life. You can spend more time with your family. You can homeschool your kids. You can take your family on vacations. You can spoil your significant other only because they fucking deserve it, because they're your significant other and they deserve the best. You can do all that when you have the money. But there's all these people out there that are not even trying, guys. So it's not like... See, it's not like you're competing up against 99 motivated, ambitious people. You're competing up against the guy that doesn't give a fuck about the money. You're competing up against the guy that's lazy as shit. You're competing up against the guy that is afraid of failure. Nothing wrong with being afraid of failure, but he doesn't do anything to fix it. You're competing up against the guy that's watching, the Harry Potter movie for 12 hours and then passing out and then going to work. You're competing up against the guy that... fucking is just a bum, and he smokes weed and he lives in his mom's basement, and he's a fucking loser. Okay, nothing wrong with living in your mom's basement and being a loser, but if you're a loser, it's time to snap out of it. It's time to not be a loser. It's time to go from being a loser to being a fucking winner. So it's easy to be rich because of that. However, you have to make sure you do the right stuff. You got to get the right information, and you got to take the right actions. As long as you do that, you won't believe how incredibly easy it is to get massively rich. And it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter what's happened in your life before. You can get better, you can get access to better information, which means you can start taking better actions, which means your life can start changing very quickly. However, you have to allow that to happen for you. So the question is, are you going to allow that to happen to you? Do you want it bad enough? Or are you just going to just sit there and just have your life pass you by and someday wake up about to die in the retirement home and realize that you didn't live the life you wanted to live because you didn't take the actions needed to get the information you need so you can take the right action, so you can make the money you want, so you can live the life you deserve to live? Oh, if you like this video, of course, make sure you subscribe.